Hi, Caroline.
Hi, Lee. How are you? So, did you? And obviously, I read your email that showed that you'd actually, you said you'd sort of been working on it. Did you end up creating a drop cap in the end?
I did. I'm very pleased with myself for doing it. Small achievement, but I'm very pleased. When I sent the email to you the other night, I'd hit a brick wall, and it was just days and days of getting nowhere. Jim helped me a bit with, he doesn't know AI at all, but he helped me a little bit, and things just fell into place from him helping me a bit. So I have managed to do a drop cap, and I have completely changed the layout, and it looks a lot nicer. I was trying to work, just trying to get it to compress, and so you could see a copy of it, and see if you had anything to get me to work on. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, that'd be really good. You can actually open it up in Illustrator if you want, if you have it open up. So to application share, you just need, if you have Illustrator open in the background behind the Collaborate window. And then if you look, so it's, I'll just get my pointer out so you can actually see. Unfortunately, I haven't actually got a pointer that points to the top. Yeah, so above there, above the whiteboard, there's three sort of icons. One icon is like a square with a squiggle and a pencil. And then the middle icon, it looks like two screens together. That's your application share button. So what you do is you press that button, and then it will bring up a window saying, what would you like to share? So you would obviously wanting to share Illustrator. So you click on Illustrator, and then I will be able to see your Illustrator. If you can't see Illustrator there, you can actually, oh, you can, it's coming in, beautiful. I can see it my end now, perfectly. Excellent. Okay. All right, Liv, if you want to just talk me through what you've done, that'd be awesome.
Sorry, I had to get back to it. Right. No, I haven't even touched proofreading with this. This has simply been cut and paste of the original document you sent us, so that I've just got the basic paragraphs where I wanted to place them, and playing around with placement, with the drop caps, with different types, playing around with the leading a little bit. So basically going with that top paragraph being the introduction one. I'm going to work on the title, the Philip Larkin. I've reduced the opacity to 90%, but I want to make it bolder and bigger again. And then I went through columns for the next two with some text wrapping for the nation's best loved poet to break it up and bring the eye down a bit. I know that the placement of the capital L and the S aren't brilliant, but a lot better than my first effort. I'm a lot happier with it. So the drop caps did take me a couple of days to get my head around, I must say.
Yeah, they do. I mean, when you start working in InDesign, you can actually place drop caps a lot easier because that is definitely a software which is has a lot more tools for typesetting than Illustrator does. But you can obviously do some typesetting with Illustrator, so that's why we get you to have a go in Illustrator as well as InDesign when you get later on into the course. So certainly doing drop caps in Illustrator, there are a couple of ways to do it, and I can see that you've done it using your character styles and your paragraph palette, which is a great way of doing it, and it's certainly worked for you. The other way that you can do it, and it's great to see that you've got the hang of text wrapping with the Nation's Best of Poet, and I think that breaks up those two columns nicely. I suppose my comment on this would be that for the body text, the two columns look great, but I would be inclined to stay with the same size of font for both of the columns. Rather than, I know that you've got your left-hand column there is a larger font than your right-hand column, so I think it just for, usually with typesetting, you know, a body text would be the same throughout. Your first paragraph sometimes might be a bit larger, but not in this circumstance, not when you've got the two columns side by side like that. You would tend to stick with them being the same font size. I love what you've done with the text wrap in the middle. I think that breaks it up really nicely, and that's a great way of getting the first and second read working well. So my eyes definitely go immediately to Philip marking. That's the strongest element, and obviously you're going to play with that, but even so, even without playing with it, the first read is, because it's strong, it's dark, it's large, I'm drawn to that. Then I think using the script font for the Nation's Best of Poet and reducing the transparency down into a tint looks great, and I'm drawn to that. And then obviously I then start to read left to right. So yeah, my only comment with what you've done so far would be just to watch for the two columns. I would keep them the same font and the same size font over the two columns. But other than that, it looks really good. There is another way of doing a drop cap, which is more of a manual way of doing it. And it actually relies on you using the text wrap the same as you've used for the Nation's Best of Poet. I had a little play just before I came on to see it, and but yeah, there's, as I say, there's when you Google it, there's two sort of thoughts out there. One is to do the way that you've done it, and it's worked really well. Another way is to actually basically create it manually. So I can, if you come back on mic and just talk to me a little bit more about what you've done, I can go there. I'll go into Application Share and I'll show you how to do it manually as well. So you've got both tools in your toolbox then for future if you want to do it again.
Okay, what I think I've probably done is to do it manually, because what I did was cut and paste the capitals onto another artboard, and from there change the size and then change the type and then cut it and put it back into the text, and then went into Object and did text wrap from there. And so it has been a real play around doing it that way. But in a lot of ways it's been good, because the sense of achievement when I finally got it right. I mean, that first P, that took days, whereas the D down the bottom took me 2 minutes. So I was happy with that. So I think I've probably done it the manual way rather than just doing it within the text.
Yeah, actually you have. I thought, by looking at it, I actually thought that you'd done it because what you can do, there's two ways of doing it. Is one that you highlight the first letter in your paragraph, and then you change the font and you change the size of the font of that first letter. And then you use, in your character panel, you can shift the baseline. So you've actually got a negative baseline for that letter, and what happens is it moves the letter down, and so you get the same effect as a larking. So say on that L where you've got larking, if you just made it bigger, then the base of that L would be at the same base of the A, and obviously with drop cap you don't want that. So all you do is you highlight that first letter, and then you go into your character style, character palette, and you give the baseline a negative number. You can preview that, and it'll just shift down and down and down until you're happy with what you get. The only problem with that, doing it that way, is you sometimes get some funny stuff going on with the second and third. You had to play with that was close to the time when so you tend to get a bit of a funny thing happening with the second and third and fourth line, and it can shift around a bit. So the way I've always done it in Illustrator is to do it manually. Now I would do it slightly different to you in the fact that what I do is I put my letter inside a box, and a box with no fill and no stroke. I then group my letter and my box together as a group, and I put the text wrap I would then use around the box, and then I'd go into my text wrap settings and just manipulate that until I'm happy with where the rest of the letters are sitting. Because if you do look at text wraps, drop caps. Some drop caps are set the way that you've set them, and others are set with a little bit of a box around them. So I can show you what I've done, and you'll see the difference. And there's no right or wrong, really. It's just a case of having a look at other drop caps and sort of seeing where the rest of the writing is shifting from it. Because if you can see, your larking there is dropped low, so you've got the rest of the word coming off the top of the L. But then with your S, you've got it slightly different, and with the D, you've got it sort of slightly different again. So, which is fine, but if you had the box, you might be able to get it so it actually sat at the same place each time that a drop cap comes along. And as I say, you know, once you get into InDesign, you'll actually see that you can set a drop cap for an entire, you know, I mean, InDesign is made for, you can make full books, novels, write full novels in InDesign and typeset it. And so obviously you're not going to be doing that individually every time a drop cap is seen in the document. So what you do is you set a style that sets your drop cap for the entire document, and so it looks the same every time a drop cap comes along. So it's good for you to have a play like this, but once you do some longer typesetting, some magazine type stuff and things like that, you'll find that InDesign is the tool to use for that kind of thing, and because you can set it as an automatic thing. So, but no, this is looking good. As I say, if you want to play with the Philip Larking title, maybe you could make it a little bit bigger or stretch it across if you wanted. You could increase the letter spacing and get it to go across a bit wider across the top. Could look good, and I would be inclined to definitely for that first paragraph to get the font to be the same size as the other two. And it doesn't matter if your second paragraph isn't finishing in the same spot as the first paragraph, you know, so at the bottom. But you can play with your paragraph widths, you know, your text box widths, so that they can actually finish at the same bottom point, which sort of can you know, tidy things up. But no, this is it's great. It looks really good. You know, you're nearly there, a bit more tweaking and it's definitely finished. Don't spend too much more time on it, because, you know, as I say, you want to finish this now and get into the next stage. Okay, I might just, did you want me to show you the one that I've done just to show you this slight difference?
Sorry, I was talking and I forgot to press the microphone. So yeah, it would be good if I could see what you've done. That would be really good. And whilst I remember, because I forgot to tell you last time, I found an absolutely brilliant online kerning exercise. I'll just bring up the link. It was Kern Type, the kerning game. You may well know about it already, but it was really good. So I just thought I'd let you know about that one.
Yeah, I did know about that one, and that was one that that we found last year. I think Megan Warren found it last year, and I remember playing it, and it was brilliant. And then I thought, oh, I should really put that into the typography as an activity because I think it's excellent. And then I forgot to do it. So I'm glad you've reminded me about that because I will definitely put that. Actually, if you could put that in the discussion board, just in typography forum, if you didn't mind, Lee, and I will remind me then to add it into as an assessment into the typography cluster because it is really good. Actually, it's excellent. So it's good fun, and it's a bit addictive because you sort of strive to get 100%, don't you, every time? I know I did. So, but yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for reminding me about that. Okay, so I will bring up. Okay, hang on a minute, just bear with me a minute. There we go. Okay, I've just all gone black for a minute. I think I'm just taking it. Okay. All right, so hopefully I'll just move the box over there. So hopefully, Elite, you can see my my Philip Larkin. Now I haven't actually, I've cheated there and I've used a Lorem Ipsum, but you can hopefully see it. If you can just put in the chat, yep, you can see it, awesome. Okay, so what I've basically done here is that that P is inside a box. So how I did that was, if I just get rid of that and do it again, so I just drew a box. Well, actually I started off with my text. So let me just double check what font I've got here. Type, recent fonts, Bauhaus, and I think I had it as a 60. Probably a bit bigger than that actually, but I might just make it into a 72. Okay. I then created an outline from that P. So it's no longer text, because Illustrator will deal with text quite differently to how it deals with objects, as I'm sure you've worked out. And now, if I did a text wrap from that, which I could quite easily do, it would do the same as yours have done, and it would sort of see that circle and it would see that, and so I would get it to sort of come around there. What I didn't actually want that. I wanted it to have a sort of square look to it, and so I used my rectangle tool, and I had it with no fill and no stroke. Whoops, no, I didn't want to do that. Select outside of that, pick up my rectangle tool, and I just basically drew, you know, I gave it some space, sort of shifted it around a little bit so I was happy with the placement. And then I selected both of them by just dragging a box around the two of them so that they're now both selected. And then I right-clicked in there and went group, so they're now a group. And then I'm going to just move them over into where I would pretty much want the P to be. And I have to make sure that the text is behind my object, which I think it is, but I'm just going to double check. So I'll just go and right click on my text and go arrange and say center back. So I definitely know that that is at the back there now. Selecting that grouped object, I then just go into object and go text wrap, which I know you've done already. And then I get this sort of square look. Now obviously I think there's too much space there. So what I will do now is play with my text wrap options to give it less space. So go into object, go text wrap options, click on preview, and yeah, I'm going to have to go down and down. There we are, so that's jumped that up to -4. I'm quite happy with that. Probably -4 is okay. and then you can sort of tweak it if you need to bring it in a little bit more further. So you've actually got your alignment there along the edge. So that's just another way of doing it, and it just puts it in a square rather than actually bringing the whole sort of rest of this body text into here. So, but you know, it's the same way of doing it as you've done it. It just puts that box instead of having it sort of fully wrapping around the whole of the letter. So, yeah. So that's. Do you think? Yeah. Okay. Why is it quicker and easier? Just because you're having to do it all on the one artboard and it's sort of around a box rather than actually seeing the letter, do you think? I'm not sure why that would be quicker and easy, but I'll give you the mic, Lee.
Just so much quicker because I was cutting and looking at another artboard and I wasn't grouping. So I had tried watching the Google videos and just getting nowhere with them. So actually just watching you do that now has made so much more sense than what I was doing with putting the capital P behind and then going into text wrap. So just makes a whole lot more sense having just watched you do that then.
Well, that's good, and you should pass that on to the rest of the primary schoolers about asking for drop-ins, because that's what we're here for. And it's no problem at all if you're getting stuck on something like that for us to do a quick demo like that. I have recorded this, which is quite good, so hopefully other people might, if you didn't mind, actually I better ask you that if you didn't mind me putting that out there for people to share. So I was gonna, cool, thank you. Yeah, we'll just I'll turn it into hopefully turn it into a video. I'm not sure how application share comes up when we turn it into a video. If not, I'll just draw people's attention to the fact that they can watch this recording and that it was looking at drop caps. I don't know if you've used the paragraph style or paragraph palette at all, but that's another one, a good one, not for doing drop caps so much, but just getting your spacing quite nice within columns. So if you look at my column there, you can see that I've got equal spacing between at the end of each. You play in getting the spacing where you wanted it, absolutely. So rather than just putting an extra space after each paragraph, which might not be quite the same all the way through, because it will depend on your leading and all sorts of other things as to how much space it puts in there. You can just sort of set that through your paragraph. Same with first line indentation and that kind of thing. So and getting used to that in Illustrator is really good, because you'll be using the same tools in InDesign for doing some nice and equal typesetting and nice and tidy typesetting. And really with typesetting, that's often what it is. It's about balancing your page out nicely, but keeping it simple. People tend to, and I think you're not the only one. Quite a lot of the primary schools have done the same, where you try and add too much into it, and often it's about paring it back and keeping it nice and simple, and on and looking at something as would this page, would I be enticed to go and read because of the typesetting? It's nice and there's a lot of space around it, and it makes me want to read. And I think that what you're doing with yours is definitely a huge improvement to what you did before, because it is. It's I think that the fact that you've broken your two columns up is a really nice touch, and that really draws me into reading further. So yeah, you're doing a good job. But yeah, thanks for asking for a drop-in, and make sure you mention it in the next Collaborate. That it really helped me, because I think people are possibly a little shy to ask for them, but that's what we're here for.
I shall do that. That won't be a problem. Wednesday night's Collaborate, I was just feeling so flat because I just wasn't getting anywhere. So I didn't have a lot to say on Wednesday night. The only other thing is my redo of the Philip Larkin piece was due in today, so can I have an extension, please?
Absolutely no problem. Just yeah, sometime next week. It's fine. And yeah, I know. I mean, I think Wednesday was. You know, obviously Karen, she's working as a graphic designer, and I think a few people have fed that back. It's like, whoa, you know, that I didn't want to see that in a way, you know. But you know, I think we've all got things we can learn from her, and I think the reason she's doing the course, she doesn't need to do the course, but the reason she's doing the course is because she's self-taught, so she's trying to find you know, bits to that she might have missed through that self-teaching. So, and it's good to see all of those different skill levels on the course. But I think, yeah, don't get intimidated and think that that's the level you need to be, because it isn't at all. So, so yeah. And if you struggled with things as well during the day, that's yeah, I can understand, and you're not the only one that felt that. It was like, whoa, you know, is that where we're meant to be now? And then, no, it's not at all. So.
It's such a good thing to hear. Both those ladies had just excellent work to show, and because heads up, I don't have anything like that. I like creating things, but I've never done it with the computer. So I mean, even like Marie's, the scrapbooking and the triptograph and things like that, I haven't done any of that. And I'm at this stage, I'm going to have nothing to show if you turn around and tell me that I'm the next person up for show and tell, because I just don't have anything.
Yeah, no, look, I wouldn't, and the thing is, you do now, you have a logo and you're going to have some typesetting, but, you know, we do know when we set the show and tells, like, what, I knew that Terry Anna's done a lot of work, and I knew that Karen was obviously also working in the industry, so we're sort of careful as to who we put together, in the fact that, you know, they're both, neither one is going to feel like, oh my goodness, you know, so yeah, don't stress about that either, but and as you get through the course, further in the course, you're going to have more. And also what you can do is bring things like you've found that can, you know, it doesn't actually have to be your own work if you don't want to. It can be something that you have found that you think, this is really inspiring, I've really learnt a lot from this, or, you know, or I love this designer. We've had quite a lot of those in the past where students have not actually shown their own work but shown something that they're really inspired by. So that's again, it's always really good to share those, or a tool that you've found that you've thought, this works really well. So yeah. So that's fine to show that kind of thing as well. So don't stress about that, Nate. And you find when students come on the course, we have there's no prerequisite that you've already done stuff. We just want you to have that interest and that desire, and yeah, you've got both. So so don't get you know, demotivated by that.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Okay, well that's about all I had to really check up with you about. I'm just checking my notes and looking at the bits and pieces I had here. Yeah, pretty well happy with that. I'll keep working on the Larkin piece. We're away for the weekend, so that's why I asked for an extension. So I'll get that to you next week. But everything else at this stage, yeah, I'm getting a handle on. So other than that, oh, thank you. So brilliant. Yeah, so that's about it for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for requesting. As I say, you're the only primary schooler that has requested so far. So it would be, you know, it'd be good for you to pass on that it's been a useful thing for you. So because you know, just to, you know, how long were we? We weren't very long, were we? Half an hour, and you answered, yeah, the question's been answered, and you're happy and you can get on. So which is what we hope for, rather than sitting at home struggling on your own. That's not what we want. Okay then, Lee, we'll have a lovely weekend when you go away, and don't spend too much time on the larking thing. It looks like it's nearly there. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, we were going to go to Peak Charles, but it actually looks like it's going to be pretty nasty weather, so we may have to replan. But have a great time in Leonora, and I'll speak to you at the next Collaborate. And yeah, if you get a chance, if you could put that kerning game in the discussion board, that'd be really good. Okay, thank you, and bye.